The human brain is the most complex object we know in the universe. K weighs about the same as a coconut, yet it controls your thoughts, memories, emotions, decisions, fears, dreams, and identity. Everything you've ever felt, learned, or imagined happened because of this soft piece of tissue inside your skull. And yet, most people go their entire lives without understanding how it actually works. Today, we're going to change that, simply, clearly, and from the ground up. Let's start with the big picture. The brain is not a computer, but it works a little like one. It receives information, processes it, and sends out responses. Okay? But unlike a computer, the brain is alive, emotional, and constantly changing. It doesn't just calculate, it feels. Your brain is made of about 86 billion nerve cells called neurons. Each neuron connects to thousands of others, creating trillions of connections. This network is what makes you you. At the most basic level, neurons communicate using electricity and chemicals. When a neuron activates, it sends an electrical signal down its length. When that signal reaches the end, it releases chemicals called neurotransmitters. These chemicals cross a tiny gap to the next neuron, passing the message along. Thoughts, memories, movements, and emotions are all patterns of this activity. Nothing mystical, just signals moving incredibly fast. The brain can be divided into three main parts: the brainstem, the limbic system, and the cerebral cortex. Each part evolved at different times and serves different purposes. Together, they keep you alive, emotional, and intelligent. The brainstem is the oldest part of the brain. It controls basic survival functions like breathing, heart rate, swallowing, and sleeping. You don't think about these things, they happen automatically. If the brainstem shuts down, life ends. This part of your brain doesn't care about happiness or goals. Its only job is survival. Good above the brainstem sits the limbic system. This is the emotional center of the brain. It includes structures like the amygdala, hippocampus, and hypothalamus. The limbic system decides what feels good, what feels dangerous, and what is worth remembering. It plays a huge role in motivation, fear, pleasure, and bonding. The amygdala is your brain's alarm system. It constantly scans for danger. When it senses a threat, real or imagined, it triggers fear and stress responses. This is why your heart races during a scary movie, even though you know you're safe. The amygdala reacts faster than logic. The hippocampus is responsible for memory formation. It helps turn short-term experiences into long-term memories. Damage to the hippocampus can make it impossible to form new memories, even if old memories remain intact. Every time you learn something new, your hippocampus is at work. The hypothalamus is a tiny but powerful structure. It regulates hunger, thirst, body temperature, sexual behavior, and hormones. It connects the brain to the body through the endocrine system. When you feel hungry, stressed, or tired, the hypothalamus is often involved. Now let S move to the largest and most advanced part of the brain, the cerebral cortex. This is the wrinkled outer layer that gives humans our advanced thinking abilities. The cortex allows you to reason, plan, imagine the future, understand language, and control impulses. It's what separates humans from most other animals. The cortex is divided into 4 main lobes. Each lobe has specialized functions. The frontal lobe sits behind your forehead. It handles decision-making, self-control, planning, personality, and voluntary movement. When you resist an impulse or think about consequences, your frontal lobe is working. This part of the brain is still developing into your mid-20s, which explains why younger people often struggle with impulse control. The parietal lobe processes touch, pain, temperature, and spatial awareness. It helps you understand where your body is in space. Without it, Simple tasks like reaching for a cup become difficult. The temporal lobe is involved in hearing, language, and memory. It helps you understand spoken words and recognize faces. Okay, damage here can affect speech, comprehension, and memory. The occipital lobe sits at the back of the brain and processes vision. Everything you see, colors, shapes, movement, is constructed here. Your eyes don't actually see. They send signals, and your brain builds the image. One of the most important ideas about the brain is plasticity. Neuroplasticity means the brain can change itself. Every time you learn, practice, or repeat an action, connections between neurons strengthen. When you stop using certain connections, they weaken. This is why habits form and why they're hard to break. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on what you do most. Emotion and logic are not separate systems. They constantly interact. Even your most rational decisions are influenced by emotion. The brain uses feelings as shortcuts to decide what matters. Without emotion, decision-making becomes almost impossible. Patients with emotional brain damage often struggle to choose even simple things. The brain also runs on energy. Although it makes up only about 2% of your body weight, it uses roughly 20% of your energy. Thinking is not free. Focus, self-control, and learning all require fuel. This is why mental fatigue feels real, because it is. Sleep plays a critical role in brain health. During sleep, the brain clears waste, strengthens memories, and resets emotional balance. Lack of sleep impairs attention, decision-making, and emotional control. In many ways, sleep is the brain's maintenance mode. Your brain is also predictive. It doesn't just react to the world. It constantly guesses what will happen next. What you perceive is partly reality and partly prediction. This is why optical illusions work and why expectations shape experience. Your brain fills in gaps to save energy. Perhaps the most fascinating question is consciousness. How does electrical activity become awareness? Science doesn't yet have a complete answer. Consciousness appears to emerge from complex brain activity, but how subjective experience arises is still one of the greatest mysteries in science. Here's the key takeaway. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It's designed to keep you alive. Happiness, motivation, fear, and pleasure are tools the brain uses to guide behavior. Once you understand this, many struggles make more sense. The human brain is not perfect. It's biased, emotional, and often wrong. But it's also adaptable, powerful, and capable of incredible creativity. Understanding how it works gives you an advantage, not control over everything, but awareness. And awareness changes how you think, feel, and act. If this video helped you understand your own mind a little better, subscribe to QuickBrain Bytes, where complex systems are explained in simple, powerful ways.